what to do. He'd say, what are we doing?
That'd be no fun.
He's done an amazing job. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, and Todd is up, and I hear he's got tremendous support in the Senate, and he's got tremendous support everywhere. Actually, he's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne. Where's Mark Wayne?
Sir.
He gave up his Senate seat. He had a guaranteed seat for the next 40 to 50 years. And he gave it up to be Homeland Security because he just wanted to.
Wanted to serve.
Yep,
Be
you're
part of the
amazing.
administration.
Amazing. As well as Senate Majority Leader John Thune and Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, who's here, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. President.
And John is, you're incredible. From day one, we got along,
Thank you,
right?
Mr. President.
From
Absolutely.
first day I met him. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, one of the bravest people.
Yeah.
And what he went through is incredible, and I actually think it looks better now than it did.
We're going to win the game tonight, Mr. President.
Oh, is it tonight?
Tonight.
Oh, the baseball, I'll be watching
7:05.
that. And House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, who is an unbelievable leader, actually. He's just so highly respected, and he's in Minnesota, and he's ripping them because he knows what's going on. I mean, it's you have your chance now, Tom, because people have really found out about it.
Wow,
So
thanks to you.
I want to thank
Thanks
you for
to
the
you.
work. No, but he's working with our people. They look like Elliot Ness. It looks like Elliot Ness and the gang up there, right? They're finding billions of dollars of fraud, and Tom Emmer's really helping us. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
And thanks as well to Senators Lindsey Graham, who had a big victory last night. He won by a lot. And no runoff, no nothing. They had a lot of very capable people running against him, and he just blew them away. So Lindsey Graham, congratulations. And Chuck Grassley, Rand Paul, who's here. Hi, Rand. Boy, oh boy, it's nice to have Rand. It's a good thing to have Rand. He knows what's important.
Sunday, July 12, 2026. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina has died at the age of 71 after what his office called a brief and sudden illness. A preliminary medical report says the cause of death was aortic dissection due to arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease, a rupture of his aorta. Graham had just returned from a trip to Ukraine hours before he passed. President Trump called into CNN saying he spoke to Graham shortly before his death and that he sounded, quote, a little tired but perfect.
Among the safest cities in the country. I'm so happy. And you're big beneficiaries because most of you live here. You hear all the time, the press, the media, and even actually some of the media, a couple of people that I would not suspect, a couple of people truly treat me unfairly, but they came up and they thanked me because it's so much. We have a safe city now. We also have a beautiful city. We had 22 fountains. Every one of them didn't work. One of them, probably the best was one that hasn't worked for 50 years. That was about the best. They've all been out of commission for 50 years or more. Can you imagine that? They were graffiti strewn, grass growing through the cracks, and they were in terrible shape. And all 22 have now been opened, and the most magnificent possibly of all, though the one in front of Union Station is beautiful. You see that? It was all graffiti all over the place. We, through a lot of work, we got it looking maybe better than it was the day they put it in. But the one that we're all talking about is the almost 2,500 foot long. It's taller than any building in the world, actually. There's no building that's 2,500 feet tall, I don't think. But it's like twice the height of the Empire State Building, as an example, much wider. So we just got that open last night. We went to do it before July 4th, and it is incredible. It's called, it was originally called, 1922 it was built, it was called the Reflecting Pond, or the Reflecting Lake, some people called it. But it was supposed to be a reflection. It never worked from 1922 because there was stone on the base, and no matter what, it always leaked because you have stone and you have lots of crevices. We have nice stone out there, but if you go between the stone, it leaks. And so it never really worked very well. And it was a bad color. It was gray. It's concrete and stone, so it's gray. And I had the idea along with some great people that worked for us. Doug Burgum was fantastic. His group, Greg, everybody. And we worked very hard, but it was going to cost $400 million, and we did it for about $10 million. It was going to take 4 years to build, and we did it in like a month and a half.
The Iran conflict escalated dramatically overnight. Iran launched missiles and drones at 5 Gulf states in what the Revolutionary Guard called the third phase of retaliation against American aggression. Targets included U.S. military bases in Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, and Oman. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar was hit by a barrage of ballistic missiles, destroying a fighter jet maintenance center and vital command facilities. Residents in Bahrain were urged to take shelter as air raid sirens rang out across the country.
It's great. And we just opened it last night, and people are going wild over it. So it was going to cost $400 million, and we did it for 10, probably 10 if you take away a couple of things. We did a much bigger job than originally planned, because once we put that in, it looked so good. The sidewalks outside didn't look good anymore. You know, they looked like they were in good shape. But when you do something new in this business, you do something new, the thing that you thought were good, you save it. So we ended up sandblasting, steam cleaning and sandblasting the sidewalks around it. And we had a lot of areas that were in bad shape. We had to fix them. We patched them, and you can't even see the patch. We have granite surrounding the pool, and the granite's great, but it was filthy, dirty, disgusting. And it was broken in some cases. We were able to carve out pieces from other pieces that were identical and put them in, and you can't even see the seam. And it's like a beautiful, it's in better shape than it was when it was built. I told you, from 1922, it never worked because it always leaked, because it had a stone base. The water leaked through the stone. So we're very proud of it. It's going to be great. Now we're doing a new surface on the World War II fountain because the surface is so bad. And that'll be done during the next couple of, we're going to start it in a week or so, and finish it very quickly. But we've done a great job. And the city is, everyone's coming up to me and saying, the city is so beautiful. So we have 22 fountains that none of them work. The earliest, I'm telling you, is 50 years. For 50 years, some of them haven't worked for 100 years. But we have fountains that were not working and were disgusting and dirty. And they're all beautiful now, every one of them. We also took care of a lot of the monuments, not fountains, but monuments, and they're all in good shape. Some of them are being finished up now, and it's incredible. And my goal was to get it all done, along with Interior and others that worked with us, to get it done before the July 4th date. July 4th was a very important date, so that was the date we looked at, and we did a hell of a job. But everybody's looking at that reflecting pool. They can't believe it. Reflects. We used it.
U.S. Central Command hit about 140 Iranian military targets on Saturday night, bringing the 3-night total to more than 300 strikes. The Pentagon said targets included missile and drone launch sites, naval assets, air defense systems, coastal radar sites, and ammunition storage facilities. CENTCOM insisted the Strait of Hormuz remains open to all vessels seeking to lawfully transit, despite Iran's declaration that the strait is closed until further notice. Oil prices surged on Sunday as the widening conflict rattled global energy markets. Brent crude and U.S. crude both rose more than 3% following the weekend of attacks. Roughly 20% of the world's oil travels through the Strait of Hormuz each year, and Iran's closure of the waterway has sent shockwaves through shipping and commodity markets. Analysts warn that prolonged disruption could push oil above $150 a barrel for the first time.
New Orleans, the same thing, by the way. It's a little earlier in the process. But if I got a call from your governor, I got a call from Steve. They called me together, actually, and they said...
Safest Mardi Gras?
They said, we've never had a Mardi Gras like that. They had the lowest crime they've ever had in the history of the Mardi Gras, which has been going on for a long time. They usually, Steve said, they usually have numerous numbers of murders. They had none, but beyond murders, I heard it was the best you've ever had. Right?
It really was. A great Super Bowl, too.
And Memphis, and that's going to be great for the Super Bowl, because we'll keep it that way. I think you're bidding on the Super Bowl coming in
2031.
Yeah, and it's going to be, now you can really say it was a safe city. And the other one is Memphis. Crime is down 77%. Can you believe it? People are calling me up, friends that were leaving Memphis. We're all leaving, and now they're staying. And the governor's, everyone's thrilled. It's amazing. And if they would call me for Chicago, would straighten out Chicago so fast, would straighten out New York fast, would straighten out Los Angeles fast. We do it really well. And part of it is you have to get the really bad ones. You have to get the career criminals out because they'll hit you hard, and they ought to get rid of, by the way, cashless bail. You ought to do that as soon as possible. Mark Wayne, where they walk in, they commit a crime, they go out, in the afternoon they commit another crime. And sometimes those crimes are murder.
Right back on the street, that's right.
Cashless, I'll tell you what, cashless bail was a tremendous help to criminals. It's one of the greatest things that ever happened to a criminal. And they ought to end it. In every city, they ought to end it. Chicago, New York, LA, they ought to end it. Starting on day one of my administration, we took the most dangerous, unsafe, violent, open border in the world. We had the most unsafe border, I believe, anywhere in the world. And the numbers came out 2 days ago that for 11 months, not one person came into our country illegally through the southern border. We had 25 million people come in over a 4-year period. We have it good. And nobody tries to come in. All the caravans, I came up with the name caravan. You'd have 25, 30,000 people coming up, and they'd pour through the border. You've seen the scenes where they were...
In Missouri, more than 350 people were rescued from catastrophic flash flooding after torrential rainfall of 6 to 12 inches in less than 24 hours. Governor Mike Kehoe declared a state of emergency. 200 children were rescued from a flooding campground. One woman, Faith Gregory, was found dead about 2 miles downstream from her home in Huzzah Creek in Crawford County. Additional flooding remains possible through the weekend across the South and Midwest.
They'd book them and then let them go, and they'd go and they'd be back on their boat the following night. So we're doing a great job. In the last 12 months, the numbers have changed in this country like nobody's ever seen before. But 0 illegal aliens have been admitted. And that's made by largely Democrat people. Those lists are made. And I find it hard to believe when I say 0. There must have been some, but they say 0, and it's very close to 0. It's hard to believe. You look, they used to have that certain areas on the other side of the wall. I built over 1,000 miles of wall. Without the wall, you couldn't do it. But I built over 1,000 miles of wall. We're building more now in certain areas where you need it. But nobody's ever seen anything like this. They had plazas. We have thousands of people standing in those plazas. They actually made them out of concrete because the land was so disgusting and dirty, and it was so muddy and horrible. So they put massive concrete plazas on the other side for people to wait getting in. There's nobody on them. There's nobody. They took a picture this morning. There was nobody on any of the plazas. They have 4 of them, big ones, where they come and stand by the thousands. There was nobody on the plaza, so it's really amazing. I want to speak about it in my speeches. I made a speech last week, which is really wonderful. Wisconsin.
That's right.
And I wanted to speak about the great job I've done on the border. And my people said, "Sir, nobody cares about that." I said, "What do you mean?" I got elected on that twice, actually, because I got elected the first time, 2016, and after I left, it became horrible, horrible. Second time was far worse. What it was in 2024, it was so bad, far worse than 2016. 2016 was like a pleasure trip by comparison to what it became. It became worst in the history of the world. I don't think there's ever been a border where 25 million people came across, all unchecked and unvetted. We should never let that happen. We can never let that happen, what happened to our country again, because no country can stand it. No country could have withstood what these people. We had a border czar who never saw the border. We had a border czar who never once.
Big Beautiful Bill Act, President Trump's signature legislative achievement, quietly marked its 1-year anniversary on July 4th. But Democrats are now using it as a weapon heading into the November midterm elections. The sprawling tax and spending law has come under fire for ballooning the deficit, and polls show voters are increasingly blaming the bill for rising costs. Republicans in competitive districts are struggling to defend their votes as economic anxiety grows ahead of the midterms. That is your Trump brief for Sunday, July 12th. Senator Lindsey Graham dies at 71. Iran attacks 5 Gulf states, and the U.S. strikes back with over 300 targets. Subscribe to the Trump Brief USA for the latest every day. See you tomorrow.